Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone.
All right. I hope everyone is doing well. Today, we're going to get into what really happened to Charlie Kirk. Was it malice, manipulation, or professional assassination orchestrated by intelligence agencies or those connected to them? We'll dive into the murky details, and I assure you there's no shortage of them. I will try to cover everything, the chaos at the scene, new details. There are some very interesting new details that have emerged, revealing Charlie's security team was seen grabbing items and then instantly bolting, leaving a lot of questions like why the rush, what were they collecting, and why'd they run away so quickly. Then there's the flood of viral videos from that day, a couple of which look suspiciously AI edited or altered, however you want to put it, but it definitely looks like it was messed with by AI.
Human beings in a mob. What's a mob to a king? What's a king to a god? What's a god to a non-believer who don't believe in anything? Will he make it out alive? Alright. No church in a while.
Tears on the mausoleum floor, blood stains the Colosseum doors, lies on the lips of a priest, Thanksgiving disguised as a feast.
Where is all the footage? Why isn't it being released? And why haven't we seen any images of the supposed shooter, Tyler Robinson, carrying a weapon? Another very interesting point that I haven't seen get a whole lot of traction is not a single person, or at least the commentators, the people that were broadcasting the memorial for Charlie Kirk. None of them believe that the alleged shooter, Tyler Robinson, is the one who even did it.
So I was in line with people for 3 hours, talking to all the folks, and they were Christians, and they were happy, and they had families, and they were lovely people. And I started talking to them, and they were happy and prayerful, and none of them that I spoke to believed that the shooter that they got and have arrested actually did it. And they are
the War Room Posse. It's 0%.
They were and they were angry.
Same with our chat.
They don't need that. They don't not saying this guy's not a bad guy and an evil guy.
Right.
But they think something, and this is why Kash Patel did announce today that the FBI has officially expanded the investigation. My big fear was you would get a lone wolf, lone gunman, and Utah police and everybody want to shut it down. I think Kash said today that they've expanded it out because we have to.
So that's pretty interesting. Speaking of Robinson, the official narrative is totally crumbling. Kash Patel claims DNA from a towel wrapped around the suspected assassination weapon and a screwdriver in which was left on the rooftop matches Robinson's DNA.
And I can report today that the DNA hits from the towel that was wrapped around the firearm and the DNA on the screwdriver are positively processed for the suspect in custody.
But here's the problem with that story. How did Tyler Robinson reassemble the gun in the woods without that screwdriver? It doesn't add up. It literally makes no sense. And then there's George Zinn, the guy they first arrested in connection to the assassination. Turns out he's allegedly a crisis actor. We've got evidence showing Zinn in New York on 9/11, making a call, reporting that a plane hit the World Trade Center. He was also in Boston during the Boston Marathon bombing, where he made a report to authorities about that.
What are the odds that George Zinn, the patsy that was arrested at the Charlie Kirk assassination, also saw 9/11, he saw the planes fly into the buildings and called that in and reported it. And then he also called in a fake terrorist attack at the Boston Marathon bombing. And just so happened to get arrested at Charlie Kirk's event. So Tess Keyser, she responded to this tweet and she says, Grok is a guy really involved in all three events like this post claims. And Grok fact checks it and goes, based on a review of multiple sources, George Zinn was a witness to the 9/11 attacks, and he described seeing planes hit the towers. He was also arrested in 2013 for emailing a bomb threat joke to the Salt Lake City Marathon shortly after the Boston bombing. He pled guilty to a terrorism charge and somehow magically only received probation. He was also detained and questioned as a person of interest at the Charlie Kirk assassination on September 10th, 2025, but released without charges relating to the shooting.
Now he's at Charlie's assassination, screaming, "Shoot me, shoot me."
Shoot me! Shoot me! Was that you? We don't know if it's him or not.
In the middle of all this chaos, is this coincidence? I don't know. You guys tell me. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. People have been speculating about another possible red flag, which is Netanyahu was the first to publicly post about the incident, which raises a few eyebrows. But not just that, people are also asking why he knew so quickly and why are some super pro-Israel people that are adjacent to him trying to paint Charlie's memory as if he wasn't critical of Israel in his final year. Which I covered this in my last video regarding the whole Charlie Kirk assassination saga. So that's part one. Go check it out if you have not. For whatever reason, that video got heavily shadow banned. I got like 50 views, so that sucks, but we're going to power through. Then there's the Hamptons meeting Charlie organized before his death, a private gathering with big conservative influencers and pro-Israel donors like Bill Ackman. People want to know what was discussed, what actually happened. Why was Bill Ackman posting about making sure the supposed shooter's father received $1.2 million reward for turning Robinson in? So why is Bill Ackman, a couple days after Tyler Robinson is turned in by his father, why is Bill Ackman tweeting out to the father saying, we're going to make sure the $1.2 million gets to you? That's kind of strange. There's a random video of a man running with a pistol that nobody's talking about.
Look at him. Oh, he's shot, dude. He's shot.
Or the drone footage that's conveniently missing from the entire conversation. When I say drone footage, I mean drone footage as in all those kids were out there recording at that time, and there's multiple different videos of this drone obviously flying by. So it's super suspicious, as well as the multiple patsies and distractions, drones flying over, people running with guns, other people yelling, shoot me, shoot me.
Shoot me! Shoot me! What's that? We don't know.
It all smells super sus. Looking more and more like a left-wing nut job story just isn't what happened. The rumor mill is certainly churning about what's next for Turning Point USA. Ben Shapiro's made some comments about picking up where Charlie left off.
I will be coming to college campuses, many of them this year. So will we all, I am sure, because we're American and we're not going to be deterred. Charlie's voice is not silent. We're going to pick up that bloodstained microphone where Charlie left it.
But what does that mean for the future, for the organization's future? I think even Milo Yiannopoulos is trying to get in on it, trying to say that he's like coming out of retirement or something to be I don't know if he's saying specifically to be a part of Turning Point USA and the whole campaign that they run, or if he's going to kind of go do something independently, but that's a little strange as well. All right. Hope the background noise is not too bad. I am out in public. I always think that I'm going to be able to fit so much more in these videos than I actually can, at least without making the video so long that no one actually wants to watch it. So I'll get into a couple more things and I'll probably just make a part 3 because this whole saga just gets crazy and crazier by the day. Let's play a video posted by the retired Green Beret I talked about earlier. His channel on YouTube is called Valhalla VFT. I posted a screenshot of his page and his video where you can watch it in its entirety. I'll put a link to that video in the description as well. So let's roll the clip.
You know how many people hunt out there and know exactly what a 30-06 round does to an elk skeleton or bone? We're not dumb. This ain't going to work. This man of steel, his bone density, let's talk about this, okay? Let's talk about some things a 30-06 can do. From out to about 400 to 500 yards, a 30-06 can penetrate elk bone. Why is that significant? elk bone is significantly more dense and strong than human bone. Why? Because elk get up to almost 1,000 pounds. And so the bone has to be extremely dense to carry that much weight.
Yeah, so just for the record, an elk's bone is roughly 2 to 3 times stronger than a human's bone in terms of density and tensile strength, which is, I mean, that's wild to think that this weapon, a 30-06, is used to take down elk and moose, which moose get bigger than elk, up to 2,000 plus pounds, and that this caliber round would have trouble passing through the neck tissue of a human is absurd.
Now, let's compare it to human, okay? Well, for one, let's talk about where Charlie got shot. He got shot here in the carotid. If that did hit a vertebrae in his neck, let's understand that neck vertebrae is some of the most fragile bone in the human body.
Very important point he made there. Your vertebrae is some of the most fragile bone in your body due to how it's got to allow your neck to be flexible. It's shock absorbent, much different than like sheer strength. I'd say probably maybe like the only comparison to things that might be as fragile as your vertebrae might be your clavicle or maybe ribs, something like that.
Because it's so flexible to handle what we do with our neck. So what they're telling you is a 30-06 round, which can blow through elk bone, was stopped by Charlie Kirk's neck and a vertebrae. If you believe that, God bless your little heart. Now let's look at this actual ballistics test. All right, so we're going to watch a video from US Overwatch. He just put out this a day ago. Very good video. Let's check it out. I'll put his link in the pinned comment and description if you want to watch the whole video.
So our first shot will be a cold bore shot, and we will just see what kind of results we are able to duplicate.
All right, so he's got some very thick bone here across the strap of this dummy. Obviously, this would be far thicker and stronger than a human vertebrae in the neck. Let's see what this 30-06 rounds does to it.
Okay, just to be clear, because he didn't point it out, this is the femur bone of a cow. I looked it up. These are the same. You can see it. These are the bones you can get for your dog. They're at Walmart or any grocery store. And all those are femur bones of cows, which is what this is. And obviously, a cow can get over 2,000 pounds. So it's up there with elk and moose and stuff like that.
Wow. All right, from this angle, as you can see here. Huh. Not only does it go through that bone, it explodes the bone, blows through the dummy.
Yeah, so as we see, it just absolutely shattered it. So to think that this caliber of round is not capable of passing clean through neck tissue is absurd. And the guy is also going to put up a ballistic plate and show what happens when a 30-06 hits a ballistic plate as well. Because I believe there was the theory floating around that Charlie had some sort of vest or something on, even though I think it has been debunked and it is official that he had no kind of vest on.
Also, as we'll see here in a second, blows through the wall behind it.
Like we did kind of also think, the bone stood no chance against a 30 caliber round traveling at that high of a velocity. So now we're going to give it reset it back up and put the ballistic plate in front of it and see if we can't duplicate that shot as well.
Right now, he actually shoots a ballistic plate with 30-06 round. Destroys the plate. Second he's there, just rip the entire half of that plate off. So there you go, guys. You just saw, I mean, right there for you, 30-06 round. Damage it's going to do, went through way bigger bone than a vertebrae, through the dummy, through the wall.
Okay, moving on from that, now let's cover Charlie's security team, who was seen doing some very curious stuff. It appears two of them instantly grabbed something, then bolted. Pay close attention. Okay, so guy in the blue shirt comes from only God knows where, jumps over the table, grabs something, throws it in his back pocket, and then just bolts. It's going to play again, so pay attention. When the video is slowed down, you can see they both grab something, but keep watching. Okay, so I found this video on Twitter and I'm borrowing it, but someone obviously says that the guy in the brown appears to give him the remote detonator. Basically, what they're implying is that this was some type of like Mossad assassination where they used those pagers in Lebanon to kill all those people. I don't subscribe to that, but the guys clearly, they like touch hands. I can't quite make out if he actually hands something off to him, but something super strange is going on. Let's keep rolling. Okay, so it's very clear they definitely did some kind of handoff there. Okay, so he jumped the table, grabbed something, went to the other guy, grabbed something else, and then ran in a hurry. Let's watch it one more time. So blue shirt jumps over the table, grabs something. Looks like he might have put something in his back pocket. And then he also hands something off to the guy in the brown shirt, while the guy in the bald head seems to like drop to the ground, but move his way over to the table. And it appears that he has something as well. It appears he grabs something and then bolts as well.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Yeah, so that's beyond strange. Can't wait to see the story they tell us to explain why those guys behaved that way. I'm sure it'll be super outlandish. Then, right after this, just 15 minutes later, Tyler Robinson gets spotted at what looks like a Dairy Queen. Based on the picture, if you check it out, he's holding one of those Dairy Queen boxes and a Blizzard in the other hand. So he's just chilling there, all cool and calm, definitely not acting like someone who just shot Charlie Kirk and is on the run from the law. Also, Lance Twiggs, Tyler Robinson's transgender lover, has vanished from the Utah townhouse that they shared together right after cooperating with authorities. Not weird at all. I don't have any more info on that, but I'm definitely going to dig deeper. It's very, very strange. I breezed over the Bill Ackman stuff earlier, so let's circle back. Bill Ackman is a billionaire hedge fund manager and a CEO of Perishing Square Capital Management. He's historically been a Democratic donor, but shifted gears to endorse Donald Trump in 2024. That's not weird either, while becoming a vocal pro-Israel advocate, philanthropist, and critic of campus anti-Semitism after the October 7 attacks. Meanwhile, Charlie had started voicing criticisms of Israeli influence in U.S. politics, even platforming anti-Israel figures like Tucker Carlson at Turning Point USA events and Dave Smith on his personal show. This allegedly led Ackman to stage a tense intervention in the Hamptons to bully Kirk into submission. But here's where everything gets kind of murky and weird. There are two conflicting stories about how this intervention went down or how it originated. There's information out there like text messages showing Charlie inviting people to this private meeting in the Hamptons, suggesting he orchestrated it. But other accounts claim Bill Ackman is the one that orchestrated it and why it became a so-called intervention. And on Candace Owens last night, she revealed that on her show, a conservative influencer, a conservative influencer, if that's what you want to call him, but whatever, if you know, you know. Xavier DeRusso said that at one point during the event, Charlie suggested something like Netanyahu should resign. According to Xavier, a lady in the back responded that by advocating that, Charlie was empowering Hamas. And Charlie shot back that this was moral blackmail, not a real argument.
And to Xavier DeRusso in his own words.
And then people are taking things out of context because there was in the article, the hit piece that came out, it talks about how Charlie raised up his phone and had written on Twitter, and he said something like, BB needs to resign or something like that. And he goes, what would happen if I do this? There was discourse, and then there was one woman who sat in the back who said, if you do that, you're indirectly going to empower Hamas. And then Charlie was like, see, you have to stop saying like that. He was saying that when you are debating about Israel, you need to stop doing it emotionally. You need to do it logically and factually. Otherwise, you lose the debate. He said it is moral blackmail if you say that somebody saying that a politician is bad, that you're then empowering a terrorist organization. Fair argument.
It was a fair argument, but it also was a real argument.
All of this just makes the official story we're being told so much stranger and screams that we need real answers like yesterday. Also, was just another damning, very crazy part of this whole story is no autopsy was ever performed on Charlie. After being pronounced dead at the hospital without any autopsy, his body was embalmed, placed in a casket, and flown back to Arizona less than a day later to prep for the memorial service, which is freaking illegal. They're just breaking the laws for whatever reasons. It's just like they want us not to trust them. I don't even know at this point what else they could expect. People are pretty pissed about it, though, and for good reason. It's a clear homicide and a high-profile political assassination, and Utah law mandates an autopsy to establish the cause of death, analyze ballistics like entry and exit wounds or bullet fragments, and ensure transparency in the investigation. Yet dispatch audio and reports say the doctor at the hospital just signed the death certificate without any of that, which is reason number 1000 and whatever why people are calling this a cover-up conspiracy. Everything about this story is looking seriously sketchy. Last but not least, I want everyone to really understand the official story being fed to us here. Whoever is in those images that was officially released by the FBI of the quote-unquote shooter, the official narrative is that he shows up with the gun disassembled in that small small to medium-sized backpack, climbs onto the roof, assembles the rifle, takes the shot, disassembles it again, stuffs it into his backpack, flees to the woods where he reassembles the rifle again, and then conveniently leaves it there. But just like in the clip I showed earlier, Kash Patel says they found the tools used to assemble and disassemble the rifle still on the roof, which makes this story literally impossible. There's no way he could have reassembled the gun in the woods where the weapon was recovered, not with the tools being found on the roof. But all right, guys, that's it for me today. If you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe.